a really bad first period, and the Leafs lose 3-1 to the Buffalo Sabres. It was just a really, really bad first period for the Leafs, and that's what killed them. They played a very good second and third period, but it wasn't good enough. It was not good enough. And that first period, you cannot be blaming Freddie Anderson. You cannot be. If you look at these goals, they were not really his fault. The first one was Vander Kane, his 17th. Next one was, by the way, Vander Kane's was a beautiful shot. Sam Reinhart was a 2-on-1. He dove across to try and make the save. He couldn't. And, that just wasn't a good thing. It was a bad play. And it was a good shot by Sammy Reinhart. And also Vander Kane's the second of the game, and the third goal of the game. There's four guys. Four Leafs standing around the front of the net. Vander Kane's just up at the top of the circle and just blasts it home. Not one of those four guys is taking anybody. It was abysmal. It was a beautiful shot too, but no one was even paying attention to Vander Kane, and it was an awful first period. Not only did they score 3 goals in the first, they scored 2 goals in less than a minute. A really, really bad period. And also they crushed us, or beat us. You know what, I was going to say they beat us in shots, but then again, we beat them in shots 13-10, but they had the 3 goals after the first period. That's really what matters. Mitch Marner tried to get the Leafs back in it with his 15th of the year, assist from Bozak and Zaitsev in the second period, and people thought, let's get it going. And Leafs won in shots 13-9 in that second period, and then the Leafs outshot Buffalo 18-4 in the third period, but just could not bury it on Robin Lehner. He did a fantastic job standing tall in net. He did a great job. The shot, like I said, the shots were 44-23. He did fantastic. Leafs were better on the draws than the Sabres. However, the Leafs penalty kill has not been great of late. They also gave up one power play in one attempt today. Leafs were 1 for 3 on the power play as well. It was just a game where a really slow out of the gate, and it kills you. It really does. And a lot of just not good plays at all by the Leafs in that whole first, not the whole first period, but at major points in that period. And, Freddie Anderson didn't let a goal in the rest of the way. Why? Because he didn't get tested a lot, because the defense played well. And the quality of shots weren't really, really great. So the team just didn't really help him at all. And I mean, that you could say that's a young team trying to find their way. Well, Buffalo's a young team as well. So it's not like they're a veteran team showing the youngins what it's like, right? So we got to take this into perspective. The Leafs have won 2 out of their last 5, which is not very good. It's not very good. But they've got points in 4 of the 5, which is okay, but they're not a lot of 2 points. And the Leafs got to start winning games if they really want to, make it onto the playoffs. Boston won today. Leafs obviously lost, so the Leafs still do have those 3 games in hand. However, they were 5. Now it's only 3, and you're a point back. 1 win and you're right back up there, which is great. But this team, if they're going to make the playoffs, have to start putting together some good stretches. And I think it all starts now. You're playing Tuesday. So they play Tuesday night against the New York Islanders, who, they're playing much better hockey than they started the year. They're now 24-19, 6-2-2 in their last 10 games, so they're playing pretty well. Obviously, they lost to Ottawa tonight, so that's not too great on their part, I guess. But the Leafs need a stretch where they beat teams. The Islanders are a team you can beat, plus you're at home, even though Tavares rakes in the Air Canada Centre. Back-to-back, you have the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, they're not the same Columbus Blue Jackets as they were when they had that huge streak. They're still okay, but they're not that same team. So the Leafs, again, have a chance to beat them, and that's on a back-to-back, which is, that's fantastic. And then you play Ottawa at the Air Canada Centre on the Saturday night next weekend. So they need to start putting some wins together. That's just the way it is. I think we can all agree with that they had a really bad first period, a very good second and third, but it was just too little too late. And Leonard played fantastic. So it's a game where you're like, yeah, they weren't awake, and they made us pay for that, right? So we got to move on. It sucks to watch this team lose, especially since how hard they played in those two periods, but you got to play 60 minutes of hockey. You can't play 40, and that's what they did tonight. So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed the video, hey, hit that like button. I do appreciate that. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. It means a lot to me once you hit the subscribe button. It just means the joy of the world to TO Sports Talk. Also, comment down below what you guys thought of the game. How do you think the Leafs played overall in the game? You know, do you guys agree with me in the sense that first period really did kill them? And what was the issues in that first period? Let me know what you guys think. And we'll talk to you guys. Well, it's going to be tomorrow night, Raptors edition, as it's a 6 o'clock tip-off as they take on the Detroit Pistons. The Raptors are back in action. They've had a few practices, so hopefully, they can find a way to get a win because they, like we've said before, they need to get on a roll. They need to get on a winning streak. And we'll also talk to you guys Leafs edition, not till Tuesday, so we have a few days off for the Leafs as they're at the Air Canada Center to take on the New York Islanders. The Leafs need a win. See you guys then.